Can you see my screen, all of you?
Yes, sir.
Okay, this is October November 2019 का P3 है. Okay, I gave this as an assessment to them. Okay, let's you think over.
सर आपकी आवाज नहीं आ रही.
जी, अब आ रही है? अब आ रही है?
नहीं सर, आपकी बात कट रही है, डिस्टॉर्टेड आवाज आ रही है.
सुमैया तुम्हारी बात इशू है, वैसे सही आ रही है, तुम्हारे पास इशू है.
मुझे तो आपकी तो सही आ रही है, आपकी सारों की सही आ रही है. अच्छा, I'm recording.
मुझे हलीमा की भी डिस्टॉर्टेड आ रही है.
तुम्हारे इंटरनेट में मसला है सुमैया.
हलीमा
अब सही आ रही है.
हलीमा की बिल्कुल सही आ रही है. Okay, I'm recording this as well and I'll share it with you. Okay, let me just discuss this. Okay, ठीक है, मैं शेयर कर लूंगा. While I'm doing this, just think over कि इसके आंसर्स क्या होंगे. An online retailer sends his goods through his website. He has used e-business software to create an online store. Describe the purpose of shopping cart within the software. Majority of students were able to do this question right. ठीक है. They did mention that it would accumulate goods ready for purchase. It would also calculate the total cost of the purchase. Okay, so yes, purpose of the shopping cart. आपने बताना है कि shopping cart क्या क्या करेगा, उसकी properties देनी है at least 2. So yes, I am sure you would have thought of this as well. Part B जो था ना, it was not very well done. Okay, part B basically था apart from the shopping cart, describe including their use the software of the software modules that the retailer used to set up an online store. Question basically क्या है? Question है कि we need to discuss कि जो software है या software modules हैं, how can the retailer set up the online store? उसमें क्या 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 चीजें होंगी जो he would take care of. ठीक है ना? A majority of the students started explaining that how will the e-commerce based website work, or no, that was not the question. Okay, so iska answer basically, if you read the question properly, masla ye aata hai P3 mein कि हम question को गौर से नहीं पढ़ते. This is the only catch मैं बार बार कह रहा हूं. We need to look into the question very carefully. Okay, so its answer basically is this. You can think of other things as well. There would be a database, okay, to store information about the items that are being stored. Yeah, तो मैं basically मैं अगर modules की बात कर रहा हूँ, software modules की बात कर रहा हूँ, I need to talk about database. For this, an interface should be there for staff to update database of items. So मुझे बताना पड़ेगा कि while I am setting up the software, I am working on the software modules, I basically need to first of all have a database, obviously, for an online store. ठीक है, मैं आपको कहता हूँ कि you know what, समैया आपने ना एक library system बनाना है, तो what do you think? So what do we need? आपको कि सबसे पहले तो हमें एक database चाहिए होगा और हमें एक front end चाहिए होगा. So this is what you'll think of. यही question है. You get my point? Javeria, are you following me? Right? So the point is, I'm again emphasizing on the fact that we need to focus more on the question. Okay, and we don't do that. That's a big problem. Okay. In order to protect the backend, there should be firewall. The database should be backup and the pages. Yeah. So it's important कि अगर मैं इसको कोई set up करूँगा module, I need to have is obviously a firewall for the database, so that no one can get unauthorized access to the database. Yeah. The administrator of the page should be given the facility to add or edit any product, their prices, photos, or cost, or whatever. Yeah, there should be facility available for the administrator at the back end. मैं user की बात नहीं कर रहा, जिसमें you could edit any product. Moreover, the skin interface should be easily changed. आप चाहते हो कि किसी particular event के मुताबिक I want the skin Eid के मुताबिक, New Year के मुताबिक, I want the skins to be changed. Okay, so I should be able to do that. There should be facility available. Okay, basically मैं module की बात कर रहा हूँ, backend की बात कर रहा हूँ. There should also be facility for the return of the goods. System for online chat should also be available. Of all these things that I'm talking about are basically about the facilities, the software modules. So do you get the point? This is the way it was supposed to be answered. Right. Next पे चलते हैं. Describe 3 different networking protocols that would be used for data transfer online. Well, frankly speaking, network protocols मैंने काफी डिस्कस किया हुआ है. हम ऑनलाइन क्लास में किया था, मगर स्टिल इसमें मेरे नोट्स भी हैं, मैंने शेयर किए थे नेटवर्क प्रोटोकॉल्स के. कहते हो तो मैं दोबारा शेयर कर दूंगा. You always get a question on network protocols. You have a list of them. You have TCP/IP, you have UDP, you have HTTP, HTTPS, you have Telnet, you have Secure Shell, okay, you have IMAP. ये सारे आपके network protocols हैं. Now, what they're saying is describe 3 different network protocols that we use for data transfer in a LAN. अब local internet network में आपके different protocols use हो सकते हैं. For example, TCP/IP में सबसे पहले तो obviously is one of the most important. TCP/IP basically याद अब क्या होता था? Transmission Control Protocol and IP protocol, they work together. TCP basically does is, listen to this carefully, TCP cuts down your packets into 8 packets. This is why we call TCP a congestion control mechanism. It is able to control the congestion. Why? Because it is cutting down the packets into 8 packets. It can control it. TCP will make sure that adds a sequence number to all the packets that it has. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. TCP will make sure that it adds the destination IP and the recipient IP in the header of the packet, meaning where the packet needs to be delivered and where the packet is coming from. फिर मैंने डिस्कस किया था कि TCP, मैं वैसे डिस्कस कर रहा हूँ ज्यादा कि सुधर आपके ज़हन में रहे दोबारा. TCP will make sure that if one of the packet is not delivered on time, it will re-deliver the packet again before the session timeout. IP जहां तक होता है, IP is there basically just to make sure the packet is delivered on the right destination. इसके साथ you could have discussed was HTTP, Hypertext Transfer Protocol. HTTP क्या होता है? It's one of the protocol that is used to transfer images, text, videos, sounds to the user computer. So it's a protocol जिसके थ्रू ये सब कुछ आप देखते हो. आप कोई वेबसाइट ओपन करते हो, all this content that you see comes through a hypertext transfer protocol, and if it comes in a secure manner, we call it hypertext transfer protocol secure. ठीक है? And third जो आप डिस्कस कर सकते थे, HTTPS भी कर सकते थे. You could have also discussed was secure shell. Secure shell basically is used to connect and give an access to your computer from a distance. A protocol that allows a full access to your computer's interface, admin, right, from a distance. Right, I will share again the notes with you. But network protocols, please, they're very important. Did you get it, all of you?
Yes, sir.
Yeah?
Yes, sir.
Network protocol बहुत important है. मैं दोबारा आपको शेयर करूंगा, प्लीज. ये तो आपको आना चाहिए definitely. A company has devices that use Wi-Fi to connect to its LAN. Okay. Describe how data is transmitted between the device and wireless access point. ठीक है. So question है, again मैं repeat कर रहा हूँ कि describe how data is transmitted between a particular device and the wireless access point. Well, हमने सिंपल ये बताना है कि वाईफाई बेसिकली काम किस तरह करता है. हमने ये बताना है कि वाईफाई अगर ऑब्वियसली अगर आपने पढ़ा होगा, अगर आपको पता होगा कि वाईफाई की प्रॉपर्टीज क्या हैं. ब्लूटूथ का क्वेश्चन आता है, यू नो द प्रॉपर्टीज ऑफ ब्लूटूथ. You get about infrared, you know the properties of infrared. Obviously knowledge होगी, पॉइंट्स ज़हन में होंगे तो you will be able to answer quickly. अगर नहीं पढ़ा होगा, पॉइंट्स ज़हन में नहीं होंगे तो टाइम वेस्ट होगा and you'll just beat around the bush and you'll write useless points, इनके मार्क्स नहीं मिलेंगे. So obviously common sense की बात है कि points ज़हन में होने चाहिए. So Wi-Fi basically uses radio waves. Okay, remember हमने पढ़ा था इसमें there are 2 categories, 2.4 होता है, 5 gigahertz. There are 2 different frequency ranges that we have. Okay, Wi-Fi also uses the spread spectrum technology, जो पहले use होती थी by military like 3 decades back, मगर अब it's used by Wi-Fi. Okay, ये basically use होती है. Spread spectrum basically helps you to spread the signals to a more greater extent with high power levels. Okay, the data is encrypted for security during transmission. Yeah. So in case of Wi-Fi, the data can be encrypted and is encrypted for security reasons. Okay. When obviously we don't send it like that. Okay. Devices nowadays uses 8.802.11 book में mention है दो ACN दोनों standards हैं मतलब काफी ज़्यादा standards हैं मगर book में we are just dealing with two different standards. So this was enough to mention about this. You could have added even more points. अब बुक में इसके ऊपर काफी अच्छा से लिखा हुआ है वाईफाई के ऊपर. Some of the company's devices can connect to other devices using Bluetooth instead of Wi-Fi. Compare and contrast the use of Bluetooth with Wi-Fi for data transfer. Okay. So I repeat again, question basically क्या है? We need to compare and contrast the use of Bluetooth with Wi-Fi. Well, generally, not a very tough question. आपने बात ये करनी है कि Bluetooth and Wi-Fi are both wireless technology. ठीक हो गया. Compare and contrast कर रहे हैं ना. And they have limited bandwidth as compared to cable network. बिल्कुल ठीक है. You agree with me? Both have basically limited bandwidth. Bluetooth has a shorter range as compared to Wi-Fi. बिल्कुल. Bluetooth की range काफी कम होती है. Wi-Fi की काफी ज्यादा होती है. And Bluetooth has lower bandwidth than Wi-Fi. Wi-Fi does not require pairing of devices. Bluetooth does. You also know that. The most importantly, Bluetooth is one-to-one mode of communication, and Wi-Fi is between several devices. I think so. You're also aware of this. So this wasn't a tough question, was it? Hannah?
No.
This wasn't a tough question. Okay. Analyze the difference between alpha testing and beta testing. ठीक है. I was very much disappointed. They weren't able to do it really very well. I was expecting very good. Anyway, alpha testing is carried out by the developers and beta testing is carried out by users. And beta testing is done at the time of the software product marketing. Beta testing reduces product failure risks. Alpha testing would encounter more bugs, and beta testing is done on nearly complete systems. So you do know that alpha testing क्या होती है? It's done before the actual testing. It's done within the software house. Beta testing is done afterwards. You can involve the users in beta testing as well. So you can obviously add more points to this as well. Evaluate the use of questionnaires in comparison to interviews, observations, when collecting data. 8 mark के question है. अच्छा, evaluation के questions अब ज़्यादा आ रही हैं. You might have seen you get around 2 to 3 questions of evaluation. Frankly speaking, which is very good. Evaluation gives you a very good chance to gain a lot of marks. I'm telling you. अब आसान होता है इसमें. Basically, what is evaluation? Evaluation means that you need to discuss the advantages and disadvantages. You need to discuss the merits and the demerits, obviously. ठीक है. Now, हमने बात करना है कि evaluate questionnaires in comparison to interviews, and so well, questionnaires would allow data to be collected from multiple responders in a shorter time, whereas interviews would need more time. Yeah, obviously it's a good comparison. Okay. So if we generally talk about questionnaires in comparison with interviews and observation is questionnaires को हम ये भी कह सकते हैं evaluation में कि people don't take questionnaires seriously as compared to other. Okay. People just fill up the questionnaires randomly. Okay. But we can say that questionnaires is a very good way to get a general idea of what the requirements are. Okay. Interviews cannot be conducted with each and every individual. Questionnaires can be given to each and every individual. Okay. We can even talk about that. Interviews need a particular time. Questionnaires don't need a particular time. You can just give it to them. Okay. People might not take questionnaires seriously. I just discussed about that. Questionnaires need to be printed and given to people. Interviews don't need such a kind of thing, but obviously इसका वाइस वर्सा भी कंपैरिजन हो सकता है कि इंटरव्यूज के लिए we don't need to actually take out printouts. More questionnaires have to be prepared, they have to be managed, they have to be gathered up, and then interviews के लिए you don't need such kind of preparation. So this is the comparison. There could be a lot more comparison that you could do between observation as well and questionnaires as well. But basically, it was this what evaluation was. You could have had more points. मुझे रोक देना where you want me to explain more. So this was okay. ये अगला point, अगला बड़ा जरूरी है. Oops. जो business लेते हैं उनके लिए तो question आसान होना चाहिए. क्योंकि you do this in business as well. So basically the question is, I'm recording, right? Yeah, sorry. Software company has employed a team of programmers to create a new computer game. The project must be completed within 4 weeks. The team will work 5 days each week. The programming team have divided the project into 8 activities. Some activities can be carried out at the same time, while others have to wait until the preceding activity or activities are completed. The activities are shown in the table. You can see I have the activity codes. I have preceding activity which must be completed. Matlab none, magar A okay, and then have time that that activity takes. So these are the number of days that I have. Okay. So as you can see is question kya hai idhar? Complete the chart below to create a Gantt chart from the table. Well, it's not a bit difficult. आपने बताना है कि जो A है that will be done in 4 days. So 1 to 4 में I have A, as you can see. Okay. Then I have B. As you can see, B starts from 1 and basically it goes 5 days. Okay. I'm taking it to 5 days. Right. And then I have, 6 days, not 5 days. I'm sorry. It goes till 6 days. And then if you look at C, again, it's 5 days. Okay. Preceding activity which must be completed. You need to complete A and then you can start with C, and C will be 5 days. So you can see C is starting when A is completed, meaning from the 4th day onward, and next 5 days ke liye jayega. Agar D ko ab dekh rahe ho, then we have is that the B needs to be completed and then again 5 days, as you can see over here, done the same thing. Okay, so for E, D needs to be completed and 3 days, as you can see. So on and so we will be completing this. And frankly, 10 marks question, not a big deal. I mean, frankly, it's 3 marks if you know this. Do you agree with me? Is it tough? मुझे लग रहा है I'm talking to myself. You're with me, right, Halima?
Yes, sir.
हाँ, आसान है ना?
Yes, sir.
Sumaya, बेटा, do you got it? Sumaya is gone. She's sleeping now. Okay.
तो मैं एक इंटरनेट का इशू हो रहा है बार-बार.
Sorry. I'm recording the lecture. मैं इसको share कर दूंगा. So we have this. Halima, समझ आ गई बेटा? I'm sure you got this. आपने business.
Yes, sir.
Okay. Identify the activities which form the critical path and give the length of this critical path. Well, critical path होता basically क्या है? It's the path that takes the longest time, that basically delays the project. So there are some paths that will get the project delayed. अगर आप इधर अब देखोगे तो इधर critical path हम किससे calculate करेंगे? For example, जोन से path है like A होगा, फिर उसके बाद I'll have C, YC, क्योंकि C जो है ये सिर्फ तब शुरू होगा जब A खत्म होगा. A खत्म होगा तो C शुरू होगा ना. फिर then C है, फिर C के बाद I have is F. Why? Because F will only start when this finishes. And then I have is G. G will only start when F finishes. So if we talk about the critical path, we'll have is this A, C, F, and H. So if you calculate the total length of this is 19 days. We call it the critical path. And you do know what the float time is, Halima? What's the float time? वैसे बात कर रहा हूँ.
सर एक सेकेंड.
फ्लोट टाइम होता है क्रिटिकल पाथ का ऑपोजिट होता है. देखो क्रिटिकल पाथ तो ये होता है ना कि इट विल बी द लॉन्गेस्ट टाइम. ओके, दैट टाइम दैट विल डिले द प्रोजेक्ट where we can allocate more resources so the project is completed on time. इसी तरह फ्लोट टाइम होता है कि that time those projects, those activities that will be completed before time and the ample time that will be left. Okay, दरमियान में let's say आपका एक particular part project gets completed before and you have for 5 days in between. तो वो क्या करते हो, वहां ज्यादा रिसोर्सेज लगा देते हो, उनके रिसोर्सेज की और लगा दो. So float time basically is the time left, time saved. Okay, आपने गाड़ी assemble करनी थी, the body of the car in 15 days and the assembling of the car engine 15 days, but you were able to assemble the car engine in 10 days. So and for the assembling of the car engine you have 5 days float time. You get the point?
यस सर.
तो उसको हम float time कहते हैं, the time that is left ample free during these multiple projects going on. और फिर float time में हम ये करते हैं कि जो रिसोर्सेज लगे थे उधर वो हम फिर बाकी जगहों पे टीम मैनेजर एलोकेट कर देते हैं. ठीक है जी भैया, क्लियर बेटा फ्लोट टाइम एंड क्रिटिकल पाथ?
Yes, sir.
Okay, good. Okay, discuss the benefits and drawbacks of using Ethernet cable containing copper wire within computer network. काफी आसान पेपर आया इस दफा, ये वाला था आया था. It's a general discussion. Well, obviously copper wires are more flexible and can be installed anywhere. Okay, copper wires के through आप electrical power भी दे सकते हो along with copper cable. The installation of cost होती है copper wire की as compared to Wi-Fi is more technical and more time consuming and more labor costing. As Wi-Fi का तो ज़्यादा आसान होता है. ठीक है, copper wires do provide higher bandwidth, ये भी हम कह सकते हैं. ठीक है, copper wires को as hack करना as compared to Wi-Fi is not that easy. Wi-Fi को क्योंकि Wi-Fi अगर ओपन है तो हो सकता है हैक. ठीक है, the installation cost of copper wire is more than Wi-Fi. ठीक है, and if Wi-Fi if you compare with fiber optic, obviously fiber optic can provide a lot more bandwidth than copper wires. Obviously, it can provide a lot more. And it can be, copper wires can be a subject to electrical interference if they are really high. Okay, generally. And we think of more points as well. Describe the benefits of using backups to prevent loss of data from computer systems. Well, अच्छा, question ये कि describe the benefits of backup. Well, obviously, general question है. Backups क्यों होंगे if there's any failure in the hardware, okay, or if there's a failure due to the operating system, या hardware खराब हो सकता है या operating system खराब हो सकता है, either of them खराब होंगे तो we need a backup. Then we can talk about malware, ransomware. कोई भी ऐसा attack can occur and due to that particular attack maybe your data can be lost, and if you have taken backup obviously you'll not have problem. Okay, there could be a failure in the hard disk. So I've mentioned enough points. Describe the drawbacks of using backups to prevent loss of data from computer systems. Well, a question क्या है? Question है कि discuss the drawbacks of using backup. Backup के क्या नुकसान हो सकते हैं? Well, क्या मतलब? नुकसान मतलब कि while we are taking the backup, there could be something wrong. Why? Yeah, there is. पहली बात तो ये कि when we are taking backup and अगर उस files के अंदर कोई malware है, the malware will be transferred to the device, the second device or the third device where you're transferring the data. वहाँ मसला आ सकता है. So you have to make sure backups have to be done at a particular point. ओके, उससे ऑब्वियसली हर बार नहीं हो सकते, और जिस टाइम से पहले बैकअप नहीं लिया होगा तो ऑब्वियसली उसका डाटा खराब हो सकता है। ओके, सो रिस्टोर डाटा का एक टाइम होता है, दैट्स इट, उससे पहले का डाटा चला जाएगा। और क्या हो सकता है, इफ बैकअप्स आर नॉट इनक्रिप्टेड data can be stolen, yeah. During backup system performance gets slower, yeah. जब भी आप बैकअप ले रहे होते हो उस टाइम पे ऑब्वियसली सिस्टम स्लो हो जाता है, so whenever you're doing so you need to do it after the office hours, so that's another disadvantage so of taking backups. A school uses a proxy server to distribute web pages to work stations. Describe the role of proxy server. Well, हमने डिस्कस किया हुआ है. Proxy server basically comes in between your WAN and LAN. In between, we have a proxy server. Proxy server basically helps you to not allow unwanted data to go inside a LAN. A proxy server may you can put restrictions about the websites or the programs or the files that can enter the LAN environment. Okay, so basically this is what your basically proxy server does. It would also act as an intermediate device to monitor any activity the user is doing. So you can monitor any sort of activity going on. This is what your proxy server will do. A proxy would also have a firewall that would not allow any unwanted data coming into the system. Many computing devices. So this is basically what your proxy server will be doing. A company has two sets A and B. Its staff work either of the two sites and can access their files offsite because company has a cloud computing technology for storing files. The connections of the location marked X हमारा हो जाएगा पहले location marked X provides security for the company's data. इस डायग्राम में देखो क्या क्या हमारे पास X में क्या है, इंटरनेट यूजिंग पब्लिक कम्युनिकेशन लाइंस, ठीक है, और आप कनेक्ट हुए हो विद X की, X क्या है, व्हाट कुड X बी, क्लाउड स्टोरेज, फिर यहाँ हमारे पास है साइट बी वायरलेस एक्सेस पॉइंट, right, then what do we have here? Okay, we have over here, it's not clear, it's a company's private network है, desktop PCs and wireless access point है, so it's a different thing. So obviously you ज़हन में आपके आ गया होगा X basically क्या है. We can explain the role of hardware and software that could be located at mark X. Well, firewall can be used not to allow, obviously firewall can be used, आप देख रहे हो, since internet using public network है, okay, आपने public ISP use की हुई है, उसके through connection है, तो obviously I can have a firewall, okay, so I can obviously X could be a firewall. To allow unauthorized access to the files, firewall would interrogate all the data packets entering or leaving the company. Routers भी use हो सकते हैं. Routers could be used to direct data packets to company's network. Routers have they have a list in the database of all the items and all the files that can enter the network and then cannot be entered. So you can list down the latest files that are allowed to be entered or not, and basically X should also be encrypted. Okay, so encryption can be used at that particular point. So X may we could have firewalls, we could have even routers, both could be used in that particular case. Yes, so this was your one of the P3. Fine. How was it? हम और भी करेंगे, पहले भी हम कर चुके हैं, we'll do more P3s. So मगर मजा तब आता है कि अगर हमने P3 टोटली डिस्कस किया हो ना थॉरली, तो फिर जरा ज्यादा आसान होता है फॉर अस टू डू इट. इज इट क्लियर बेटा?
Yes, sir.
यस सर. अच्छा ठीक है, अब क्या करें आप लोग, अब इसका क्या प्रैक्टिकल का पेपर कर लेते खुद, व्हाट डू यू वांट मी टू डू? यू वांट टू कैरी विद योर प्रैक्टिकल पेपर? जवेरिया?
Yes, sir.
हाँ, तो आप लोग अब अभी बैठ के जो भी नाश्ता करना उसके बाद प्लीज बैठ के प्रैक्टिकल पेपर कर लो लाइक द वे वी डू इन द लैब. ओके. और मैं ऑनलाइन हूँ. आपने कुछ चीज पूछनी है मुझसे पूछ लो. इज इट फाइन?
Okay.
श्योर?
Yes.
व्हाट डू यू से?
ओके सर।
मुझे मुझे ट्यूसडे तक मैं आप लोगों से पूछूंगा कितने पेपर्स हो गए हैं. प्लीज मेक अ लिस्ट एंड टेल मी कि सर ये पेपर हो रहा है ये नहीं हो रहा. लेट्स कंप्लीट ऑल ऑफ देम बाय एंड ऑफ नवंबर. लेट्स ट्राई टू डू मोर. ओके. आज कल संडे सिट डाउन एंड लेट्स कंप्लीट पेपर्स यार. एक पेपर कंप्लीट हो जाएंगे तो क्या मैं आपको बार बार तंग भी नहीं करूंगा. आई जस्ट गिव यू मोर एक्टिविटीज टू डू. गेट द पॉइंट? आई एम ऑनलाइन नॉट
Yes, sir.
ओनली राइट नाउ. अभी कल संडे जब आपने मुझसे क्वेश्चन पूछना हो आई एम ऑनलाइन. I'll be able to answer you anything. Okay, it's not just this class. ठीक है?
ओके
Okay.
सर।
ओके ठीक है बेटा चलो. ओके प्रैक्टिस करो इसके बाद. ओके. ओके अल्लाह हाफिज.
अल्लाह
Allah
हाफिज।
Hafiz.